All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us. We are going live on our YouTube live stream. We'll give people an opportunity to connect with us, especially our LSC members. So again, thank you all for joining. We will start shortly as soon as we have more members join. And we are going live on YouTube. I will begin recording this meeting shortly. So again, this meeting is being recorded and streamed on our YouTube. Again, this meeting is being recorded and streamed on our YouTube platform. Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. Our meeting is streaming live on our YouTube platform for our audience to see. And thank you for everyone that is joining us right now. We were just waiting a few minutes for the rest of our board members to arrive. Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. Our meeting is streaming live on our YouTube platform for our audience to see. And thank you for everyone that is joining us right now. We were just waiting a few minutes for the rest of our board members to arrive. Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. Our meeting is streaming live on our YouTube platform for our audience to see. I suppose before we start, and thank you for everyone that is joining us right now. We were just waiting a few minutes for the rest of our board members to arrive. We have Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. On, and that is our meeting is streaming our student on our YouTube platform. I know that our audience to see. I know that our community reps before we start, Israel and Ruth were not going to be able to join us today. Joining us right now. Ms. Rueda Ahmad, just waiting a few minutes. Also, our parent rep was not going to be able to join us. The rest of our board members to arrive. Just as an FYI, we may not be able to. Hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. So we would not be able to vote. Our meeting is streaming our student rep connected to our platform, LSC business. But Chairperson McCann, I'll let you call the meeting to order whenever you deem fit. And if we don't have quorum, I'll just ask you for your thoughts on whether you'd like for us to just continue to share information, but we just knowing that we're not going to be able to vote, and then deciding or determining whether we reschedule as soon as humanly possible, or if we can just wait for our next meeting to put any votes through.
Yeah, thank you. So from my count thus far, I'm present, Balsam, Ms. Malhas is present, Ms. Sabrina Woods is present, the student rep, Moir is present. Who am I missing for the 5, Mr. Escamilla?
Mr. Rueda Ahmad, parent rep.
Oh, okay.
Santa Montoya, another parent rep.
But they're not on, correct?
They're not on. No, they're not on.
Okay. Okay. So I think that the voting is important, but just kind of briefly looking at the agenda, Mr. Escamilla, how much information sharing did you have present, or did you have prepared for today for those who are present?
If I had to sort of estimate the amount of information through time, I only have probably maybe a 10-minute report or even less. I just wanted to share a couple of things of our data gathering for our participatory budget and clarify things around that for the sake of just clarifying our participatory budget process, and then serve as a reminder of the upcoming LSC election and giving a rough estimate of timing for that and where to locate information and forms. And I was basically done with my reporting at that time.
Okay. Well, I personally think that it would be worthwhile, since we're those of us who are gathered together, to get that information piece, but then try to see when we could reschedule so that we could have a a true meeting in which we vote. So in this situation, I do have a question, like a point of order. I still need to take roll call, and we need to, for the record, we need to indicate that we did not meet quorum, correct?
Correct.
And then in terms of the agenda, because we don't have quorum, we would not be able to approve the agenda or the minutes, but it's still permissible for you, Principal Escamilla, to share information for us. Oh, I see Mr. Asensio is here. Hello.
Good morning. Good afternoon, should I say.
Good afternoon.
I'm so sorry for being late. Technical problem.
Okay. Does anyone have any objection to us moving forward with taking the roll call at this point?
Can you repeat that again, ma'am?
Yeah, we're, Mr. Asensio, we are pretty certain we do not have quorum, but I would like to take the roll call just to ensure where we stand on that. So I will go ahead. I actually am going to say the name so that I can track this, but Lawanda Jones, are you with us tonight? Okay, no. Mary McCann Sanchez, yes. Santa Montoya? No. Israel Flores and Miss Ruth Cruz. Both of them are not here. Mr. San Gabriel? No. Mr. Asensio? Yes, correct.
Yes.
Miss Malhouse?
Present.
Thank you. Miss Woods?
Here.
Student Anwar Ahmad?
Present.
Okay. So is there anyone I missed that's on the council whose name I didn't name?
I believe you just missed Rueda Ahmad, who is a parent rep. Well, she's not present. I spoke with her earlier. She said she wasn't going to be able to attend. And then me.
Yes, of course. So Mr. Escamilla.
Present.
Yes, okay. And then I see we also have our vice principal, Mr. Stakoyak, and we have Ms. Gonzalez with us too, although they're not members of the council. So we do not have quorum. So for the record, we were unable to establish quorum, and thus we cannot move ahead with approving the agenda prior minutes because we do not have quorum to do that. But having established that we do not have quorum, is there any, any objection to taking advantage of the fact that we're all together to just listen to some informational points that on budget and regarding upcoming elections that that Principal Escamilla could offer us? Anyone have any objection to that?
I'm in favor.
Thank you.
No, we're all good.
Okay, so let's move forward and have a very short meeting. And then after that, after we ensure that we have some information, we can determine if we would like to reschedule or just convene a meeting again in February. So, Mr. Escamilla?
And I do want to also emphasize that after I'm done, I'd love to give the floor to Anwar. I know she's been hard at work with the Student Voice Committee, and so if she doesn't mind sharing, and I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, Anwar, but if you'd like to share any updates from Student Voice and the work that you've been doing, please feel free. But as always, if we reschedule or we move forward to the February meeting, you can also give your report there. So I will share my screen here. So just some, as I normally do, try to give a sense of the pulse of the school right now, and just some overall Foreman data. Right now, our attendance rate has gone down by 2 percentage points, but there, as you all imagine, there's a lot that recently has been taking place with the cancellation of classes and such. But we're holding kind of steady there around 77 to around 80%, is how we sort of fluctuate there. Our teacher attendance rate hasn't changed. We're at 93%. Our student enrollment went up slightly from our last meeting. We're at 573. Right now, this is some additional sort of pass rate data by department, just to give you a sense. And again, if you notice all the way to the left, you'll see all the A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's for the 9th grade, and then followed by all the A's, B's, C's, and D's and F's for the 10th, then the 11th, and then the 12th. Again, we are holding pretty steady at a high pass rate, although that doesn't mean that we're 100% successful. It just means that we are holding pretty steady with a good pass rate for 9th grade, over 90% at 91.28. 10th grade, it seems, is where we need our help and support to help our 10th graders continue to make strides in their overall pass rate. They're at 84.37%. Our 11th grade is at 88.22%, and our senior classes leading the way at 91.92% pass rate. So this is sort of our overall grade data. And again, just to continue to provide clarity around the participatory budget planning and preparation, it is $300,000 in capital funding provided by Senator Christiana Passioni-Zayas, and it is strictly to benefit the school with facility upgrades only. At first, when I originally brought this news to all of our attention, we thought that we would be able to utilize it in several creative ways, but it was made clear to us that it would only be able to benefit our school through facility upgrades like renovating restrooms, putting money towards renovating the facility itself, the building itself. I did put a survey out that I sent out a few times to families, students, teachers, and I wanted to bring some of the findings of those surveys. And although the survey was pretty specific, people can still enter whatever they want. So I did want to, although some of these areas that you're going to see, we're not going to be able to utilize the funding in certain areas, I still wanted to document them, and they will forever be documented, so that we can perhaps continue to poll or survey our school community in the near future. And when funding becomes available, that we can use other funding towards what the parents, students, and community and our staff feels that we need to really focus on. So some of our parent responses really highlighted an interest in social emotional learning for our students. So they were interested in investing the funds in social emotional learning, bringing in motivational speakers, improving our athletics program overall, specifically offering camps in between seasons, and improving coaching efforts is what there was one of the parent responses mentioned. Also, an interest in trade programs was mentioned by parents, and something that stood out to me as well is an anti-bullying program as an interest for parents. So some of the interests for students, and this may be because the work that Anwar and the Student Voice Committee have been doing, but I did notice that the responses overwhelmingly were in favor of upgrading restrooms in the school building, both the boys and girls restrooms, wanting upgrades there. Also mention of career and trade programs, improvements in classrooms in general, whether that was an improvement to the classroom through making it a little more modern or furniture. And then a continued interest in investing in our music program, specifically in trying to figure out a way where we can continue to do instrument maintenance. So from our teachers, there was an interest in cell phone lockers, more school curb appeal. So, and I like that one because I have been trying to get help from the city to help cut down some dead trees around our campus. But helping improve our school curb appeal, I think for a neighborhood high school, to always draw interest and make it a viable option for our immediate community, this makes sense. Space for clinicians to work with students in groups. This is also, I'll share some stuff that we discussed as an administration, but again, a very needed space, especially during our time away from school and now coming back to school. Social emotional learning and mental health is just a great need and focus that I'd love to eventually make a space like this happen. There was a mention of trying to bring in help from resident artists to develop murals throughout the school. I thought that was a very interesting and nice suggestion, because again, it creates that space for students of excitement and curiosity. I see Anwar saying yes, more murals. Yes, it seems like a really great idea. Again, teachers mentioning perhaps investing in trade classes. I remember automotive being one of the classes mentioned by teachers. Developing or investing in more cultural links to the community. So these are more cultural-based organizations that exist around the community, and perhaps partnering up and investing in those partnerships. Staff restrooms were also mentioned. Upgrading our library overall. Classroom seating and technology upgrades were things mentioned by teachers. Administration always has their eye on the prize with the field and locker rooms that are in desperate need of renovations. And I actually did receive the estimate that CPS created around this particular renovation, and it ranged from $10 to $14 million. They actually put a price tag on it. And so if we were to split those up, just basic math, and this is not, by no means is it accurate, but I'm assuming if we were to split up the two jobs, the field and the lockers, that perhaps the field would roughly cost anywhere 50% of that number, which would be anywhere from $5 to $7 million to renovate, and the locker room respectively the other 50%. We also find a need to renovate our library, similar to what the teachers were also recommending, and creating more of a college-going environment so that our students can picture themselves in a college or post-secondary environment, studying, doing research, finding a quiet place to study, and getting used to that college feel in our school. We also feel like if we continue to renovate the rest of the space behind the library, and that we can perhaps create a space for our counseling clinicians and more of a social space for our counselors and clinicians to utilize, whether that's a post-secondary lab or a universal space that they can host different events. We're also thinking, aside from the gyms and locker rooms, that we can also consider a weight or more of a weight and aerobic area to develop. And if we do end up moving our counseling and clinician team closer to the library and creating a very specific space for them there, that perhaps the counseling, the current counseling office can be something that's renovated into this workout / weight room area for students and staff. We also thought of the recent renovations to the auditorium, but the only thing that was really missed were the seats. And I know how much our engineers tell me how poorly made those seats are and how easily they break. So investing in proper heavy-duty seating to go along with the recent renovations to our auditorium would also make sense. Also some tree removal to beautify the school campus. And so these were just some of the recommendations. And again, it must impact school facilities. The building must not exceed $300,000. So the idea is to generate these ideas. I've already met with CPS. What they want to do is help us put an estimated price tag to some of these ideas, so that we can then begin to narrow down really what we want to focus on and spend the funds on, and be realistic, because $300,000, we have a lot of great ideas, but $300,000 is just simply a drop in the bucket for some of these projects. And what we want to do is perhaps bundle these suggestions and continue to bring this back to our community, because it is a participatory budgeting process, and empower our school community to vote on the appropriate bundle to move forward with. Again, so that was the spiel I had for our participatory budget process, and I did want to remind everybody that it seems almost like very strange, and things have gone by so quickly, but it is time for another LSC election, and all of the information is currently found under the LSC section in our website. So all applications, all forms are there. And just to give you a rough timeline, applications are now open through March, early March. And then we go through the entire voting process again. And the new term for the LSC for school year 22-23 would begin July 1st. So this particular standing LSC would go through July 1st, and the new LSC would begin on July 1st. That is all I have for my reporting. I just want another plug for our play that's coming up on February 25th, La Gringa. You can also find more information on this performance on our website. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll all go to the website and read through about the election process. And as I understand, if we're interested in continuing, we need to submit our application, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And I really hope that you all are in some form or fashion, because I really have enjoyed working with this particular LSC, your input and your guidance.
Yeah, so everybody do it. That'll be important. Yeah.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Two things. As for the LSC application for elections, does the LSC central office downtown wants us to send it electronically, or do we have to do it physically in the sense of paper?
Good question. I think either or. If I know that in this last process, I believe a lot of you submitted it on hard copy, and I simply scanned it all in and sent it at the same time to downtown.
Okay. And the second is just a comment. I heard Mr. Garces in the line. Is he in person? Okay, fantastic. That clarifies a lot of things for me. Just a comment. For the $300,000 that we are going to be investing in capital improvement, in my opinion, I think that the bathrooms for the kids are a necessity. And the idea of changing the counseling office to the main hallway and leave that entire area for the weight room, it is a brilliant idea. I think that our students, many of our teams have struggled over the years with prior teachers trying to get the facilities up to par, and I think that they deserve to have a weight room and a cardio room as well. If we are going to sell the school, and when I say sell the school, not meaning selling the school for selling the school, but if we are going to request potential students to come to the building, we have to have something to show off for, and having a good facility like that that can potentially help us with the football team, the soccer team, in both genders will be fantastic. Not to mention volleyball or track and field. That would be fantastic. It would be a fantastic idea to put into work. Then again, you're talking to Mr. Asensio, who's always trying to do something for his health. But it can also be used as a way to develop some camaraderie amongst the faculty members and the students. It could be a community relationship building too.
Yes, no, good points. No, very good points.
Yeah, thank you. Does anybody else have any comment? Okay, so Anwar, could you talk a little bit about the students' voices and everything that you've been working on?
Yeah, I'd actually like to share my screen.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing in a second. Give me 1 second. Go ahead.
Okay, so hello LSC and Happy New Year. So first things first, I did want to show off this mixed media mural of our school's mascot, a hornet. It was completed in February or March of 2020 with the La Casa program, which was during my sophomore year. And so we plan to hang it up for everyone to see. So picture walking in through the main door and walking up to the third floor. SVC and I believe it would be a good idea to place it on the second floor staircase in the center, right where we're going up to the third floor, as we had planned this when the mural was first completed. And speaking of murals, we also have a kindness wall that we are going to work on very soon. We just need our materials. The kindness wall is just a little project the SVC is starting soon to promote positivity and kindness. But like I said, just as soon as our materials arrive. We are working on a potential cell phone policy. So when it comes to teenagers like me, cell phones are a problem in class. This survey here is asking in detail, when should students be allowed to use their cell phones or electronic devices for personal use in class? Well, I thought I was muted. Okay, for personal use in class. And so the reason why it says personal use is because it was agreed that educational use is allowed or permissible in the event where a student does not have their Chromebook. So this Friday, an SVC member and I, Aramis, are working to visit seminar classes, whereas Crystal and another Crystal will visit communication classes to get student input on a potential cell phone policy. I have the link right here. I will put it once the presentation is over with. But some of the options here are the last 10 minutes of class, if work is complete, of course, only with teacher permission, never, and then there's an other option. Let's just hope those options are reasonable. As for the class reflection that I talked about, just a little recap. The reflection survey gives students the opportunity to reflect onto class time and what can be done to create a better class environment, address any problems, highlight positive events that occurred in class, or just generally share anything that students feel is important. So I don't have the questions up here, but what I just said basically sums it all up. And so the approach for this is teachers have the option to post the form in their Google Classrooms as an optional resource for students. So it's not that it's something that will be sent out weekly or bi-weekly. It's just something that's going to be there for students to go back to whenever they feel that they want to fill it out. And what's next? So next steps of the participatory budgeting process for our restrooms. And this is using the 10K grant. So we did go around seminar classes, and the restrooms is like one issue that students are mainly worried about. And so to promote all of this, we are planning on doing a TikTok video. I feel like that's one way to get the attention of students at Foreman. And so these pictures over here are the before pictures that are going to be in the TikTok video. And as for the after, it's going to be more so of what the bathrooms can possibly look like. So, over here we see scratched up air dryer, writing on the wall, graffiti, and that's just something we are hoping to change just so that our school can look more modern. I know it is just restrooms, but the more we work on like little things, little by little, it's possible that our school is an environment someone will look forward to entering. And yeah, we do feel that this was one important thing that we had to address. And that is all that I have today. Any questions?
I think it would be wonderful, Anwar, if we can put into the restrooms smoke detectors. Sort of like sort of like when you get into an aircraft where you're supposed to be 10 hours in a flight from here to Jordan, and you cannot smoke, something like that.
That's another great idea. I will make sure
You
to.
know, I mean, it sounds funny, but it's true.
And the mural suggestion on the second floor is something that we can work on to get done sooner rather than later. I just have a few questions, like the backing of it, and would it need like a makeshift what is it called? Drew a blank. Something.
You can have a sheetrock panel that can be installed into the walls. You don't have to remove anything that is in there, and the students can use the sheetrock panel to put anything in terms of ceramics or any design that they want. In case it gets damaged in the future, which could happen.
Right,
we
or
can
we
take the
could
panel.
facilitate moving it, like if in the future it just gets moved, that it doesn't get destroyed.
Exactly. I'm excited to see what they come up with. It would be wonderful if we could also put in front of the mural like a plexiglass plane to protect it from the elements. Just sort of like what they do in the museums, because it's a work of art and it will be with us for ages. I mean, if you take a look at what we have from past generations in the hallways, it's been there for ages. I mean, we don't pay attention to it, but this is work that has been done by former students of ours that are professionals, and that some of them have died.
Thank you, Anwar. And I know we have people from our PAC and back. I don't know if you want to advertise upcoming meetings or anything like that.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Hi, I'm Miss Tracy. I am the bilingual coordinator, and we were scheduled to have our January back meeting on the 5th of January, but with the work stoppage, we weren't here. So it has been rescheduled for February 9th. We will be sending information home with the kids, but this meeting, Miss Ingram, one of our counselors, and Mr. Garces, who's here, are going to be presenting and explaining kind of the whole college process, from applying and taking placement tests and, sources of funding and things like this. It's not just for seniors, so we're going to promote it everywhere. It'll be very useful information for the current seniors, but this is there's a lot of good information for planning ahead for the underclassmen. And just since I have a moment to talk now, the $300,000 should go to developing a space for a cosmetology program that would attract girls from all over, well, girls and boys from all over the city to go here. That'd be great. And just for the student voice committee, bilingual students don't have seminar. So in order for them to participate in any kind of feedback with you guys, we have to make some arrangements for them, because their voices are not being represented if these questions are only going through seminar. So February 9th, 7:00, the links will be out soon.
I believe Anwar mentioned that there's a student that would be visiting communication classes, but
Yes,
we can look into it.
Right, but that's still not all the bilingual. I'm sorry, that's still not all the bilingual students, because ESL 1 and 2 kids don't have communications either.
Is there a way that I can reach those students that you can suggest?
Yeah, you can pop by. Ms. Mulhouse teaches ESL 2, 7th and 8th period. I have ESL 1, 7th and 8th period. So you could pop in either of those periods to our classes.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. That was really interesting. In terms of moving forward,
I think that we are away from reporting the grades for the semester about a week or so away. I think it will be in the best interest of the faculty and the students to stay the course on making sure that the students are focused on that. I think that we can do the meeting in February.
The regularly scheduled meeting.
Yeah, yeah, because
Okay.
we touch bases here, and from what I'm hearing, we are set in a good route.
Yeah, I know that teachers, and especially our teachers here, that's a good point, Mr. Asensio, because we do have final exams at the end of the semester for next week, and everyone's sort of at a scrambles with updating grades and grading all different types of exams. So that's a good point to bring up.
Yes.
The only suggestion I do have is that I did also share with you all the January folder for budget, and we would need, there's only one single transfer that I would need approved, and that was a transfer from a pointer line to purchase updated books for the library. This is to continue to draw attention to our library and the support that our librarians trying to accommodate students who are interested in a lot of new novels that are out, a lot of popular titles, and so we invested in cleaning up old titles from the library and updating them with new titles. And so that was if I remember correctly, I don't have it in front of me, it was $2,000 of a transfer that we would need to get approved. So just please peruse those documents for the next meeting.
Okay. And I know that we also have a report from PAC. But before we go to that, anyone else have an opinion? Kind of the tendency now is to wait until February. Of those of you who are here, Ms. Woods, what would your opinion be? To convene a special meeting or to wait until February?
I mean, if there's nothing that's dire or anything that needs to be approved, I can wait until February.
Okay, Ms. Malhas?
I agree. I think I can wait until February as well.
Okay, and Amar?
I agree with everything that's been said.
Okay, and so Mr. Escamilla gave us the opinion or the guidance that we need to be ready to vote on the library transfer so that that's approved and signed off in a timely way. Okay, so we'll just wait until February, and we'll have some time to look at our applications. Mr. Stakoyak, you have a report, please?
Yes, Ms. Kearns is here, our PAC chairperson, and she can provide a report for PAC.
Yeah, we also skipped the meeting for this month. For the February meeting, we normally meet on the second Monday of each month, but because that's Valentine's Day, we have our meeting scheduled for the 7th. So that's just a couple of weeks away. So it feels like that makes the most sense, just so that people aren't already stretched too thin and scrambling on short notice. We don't have anything urgent that needs to be addressed by that meeting. At the last meeting, we did go ahead and vote to move forward with a woman named Ana Maria Soto, who is already an approved CPS vendor. She is going to be doing ESL classes for parents. So we approved 20 classes over a 10-week period. We'll be sending out a survey shortly with a couple of options for start dates and times of day to do it. And then she'll go ahead and get going with that. And then we've just been talking about ideas to start bringing in guest speakers for the rest of the year. And we'll need to sit down and look at, the amount of money that's left and what our options are to make sure that's spent in time. Mr. Escamilla, I'd actually, if you have time, I'd like to follow up with you on some of the feedback that you got in the surveys sent out with parents, because it might be possible, if some of those things are things that we can educate parents on, like the social emotional learning, we might be able to help fund that now that you're realizing that that grant is not eligible to be used for that.
Sure thing. No, not a problem. And I know Mr. did bring that to my attention, that interest in the ESL program for parents. The only thing I want to put on your radar is that, and I don't know if you've done this already, then that's obviously fine, but we will need the PAC to make a motion on moving funds to cover the cost of that program. So right now, the way it is, and I imagine that you received this document during your first initial PAC meeting, is where you receive the breakdown of the PAC budget. And so whenever there's a need to move money within those different budget lines, because some of them were for food, some of them are for training, some of them are for materials, let's say, you would have to conduct a vote and then document it in your minutes that you all were in agreement to move those funds to cover, cost X, whatever that X cost may be.
No.
But just a heads up.
Thank you. And I did wonder about that, and I had a question for you on it that I had planned to follow up on, but since we're talking about it now, that would be great. Does that have to be approved by, meeting attendees or just the board?
No, just everyone in the meeting. Everyone and anyone at the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we won't be taking a vote to adjourn because we don't have quorum, but I think it's probably time to adjourn after a lot of really good information, unless someone else has something else they want to add in at this point.
So yes, I don't want to. I could have mentioned this in my report, but because the details are not 100% there, I want to just hold back a little bit. But because it's not official, it's not as official as what the state senator and her news for our school, how official that news was. But I have been in communication with our alderman Felix Cardona, and he is confident and he is moving forward with a proposal to work with Mayor Lightfoot in accessing TIF funds to assist us with getting the renovation to our field. Now, because there's nothing official just yet, that's why I just wanted to hold back the excitement and hold back that as an official communication, because we're just not there yet. We're in the works of putting all that together. And I have some experience in writing and working with my alderman where I live in Jeff Park in trying to access TIF funds. And I know it's a bit of a process, but it has to align to the goals of the original TIF. And so it's a matter of understanding the goals that were originally written before money was collected by the taxpayers of this community as to how it was going to benefit this particular community. And so if we can, I'm sure there's always a wiggle room, there's always room for improving neighborhood high schools to strengthen anyone's argument. And so I'm sure that the alderman, with his experience and savviness, and if my help is required, I'm there to put in my own elbow grease to either participate in meetings, invite our LSC to these meetings. But he is working on a proposal to tap into TIF funds to continue to help our school, which is exciting. If at the very least we learn from putting through a proposal like that, then it's a learning experience either way. But I'm going to hold back on my official excitement until I see some level of approval. But I did want to bring that information to you all because it is exciting news.
Let's take a look at how it
Show
all
me the
works.
money.
Original Medicare alone covers all of your doctor and hospital visits.
All right. Well, thank you all. I think we'll have an earlier night tonight. Stay safe, please. Stay warm. And we'll see each other either on February 7th if we attend the PAC, or February 9th if we attend the BAC, or if not at the LSC meeting. Okay.
Good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you.